Lesson 3.06, Triangle Similarity, Part 1. Please don't forget to add your course and section number with all communication with me. Your course would be 202B. Your section number would be 1, 2, 3, or 4. The objectives in this lesson is to use the angle-angle similarity postulate to determine if two triangles are similar, and proving triangle congruence. Remember, we've talked about the side-side-side postulate, which is SSS. We talked about side-angle-side postulate, SAS, and angle-side-angle postulate, ASA. With the side-side-side postulate, if the sides of one triangle are congruent to the sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. With your side-angle-side postulate, you're saying if two sides and the included angle in one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the two angles are congruent. And with your angle-side-angle postulate, it says if two angles in the included side in one triangle are congruent to two angles and the included side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. I'm going to jump right in there and start showing some examples, because sometimes those postulates and theorems are really wordy and just hard to understand, but it's easier to understand with the examples. I really want to emphasize the do not assume that side lengths and angles are drawn to scale. Only information that is explicitly given or marked can be assumed. So that means don't ever go by what the picture says. That's what that's telling you. This says, explain why two pairs of corresponding congruent angles are sufficient to prove that triangles are similar. And the answer that they gave you was quite lengthy in the key. This says, by the polygon similarity postulate and similar polygons, including similar triangles, all pairs of corresponding angles are congruent and all pairs of corresponding sides are proportional. The triangle sum theorem states that the sum of the measures of three angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. So if two pairs of corresponding angles of a triangle are congruent, then the third pair of angles must also be congruent and the sides will be proportional. And those reasons are enough to prove that two triangles are similar. Now this question says, determine whether each triangle is similar to triangle RST and explain why or why not. So let me work some magic here with my pen. I'm just going to leave it with red ink. Okay, if I look, angle R is 80, angle S is 40. And you have to realize they've kind of rotated these. So what I want to do is find a triangle who has a corresponding angle that equals 80 and a corresponding angle that equals 40. Well, that's really easy to see right here, and I can also tell that they're corresponding. Okay, but now let's make sure, because that might not be right. If this is 80, that means this angle has to be 50 degrees. This angle right here has to be 60. So this angle has to be 60. This angle right here could be 80. Oh, see? So now we've got B and C. I liked C because I looked at it and it was an easy answer. This one, I don't have enough information. Okay, they didn't give me enough information there. So let's look at how they correspond now. I like that B does correspond with R. I like that A corresponds with T. And C seems to be corresponding with S. I'm really liking B as my choice. Now, let's look at this one. I'm really liking B. Let's see if I put the answer on the next slide. Oh, there we go. It was A. Goodness, Miss Poor really messed that one up. Let's look at this. Let's see what they're saying here. They said the measure of angle L equals 180 minus 80 plus 50, which is 50. And I'm not liking that because 80 and 40 is 120, so angle T had to be 60 degrees. And this can be 50, but that doesn't say they're similar. Let's go back and look at the other one. I'm not liking that. I copied this straight out of the problem sets, but that doesn't mean they can always be right. Interesting. Well, let's go with B. I like B. Let's see what's next after that one. Oh, the triangles are not similar because corresponding angles are not congruent. Okay, they're explaining it. That's what they're doing. Whew. It's been a while since I made this slide. Sorry about that. It says they are not similar because corresponding angles are not congruent. Well, let's look at B. It says 180 minus equals 80. Let's see what that's the one I liked. Let's see what they said. The measure angle B equals the measure angle R, which is 80. Measure C equals S, which shouldn't be 80. That should say 40. That was just probably me and a typo. It says they are similar because of the angle-angle similarity postulate. If two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another, then the triangles are similar. Now let's look at C, what they said about C, because it looked good too. See, those matched up just like I said. And P and S are 80, so that worked. Ah, so I had two answers. That's where they tricked us. So C was a good answer as well. And then D's not going to work because they didn't give us enough information. Hey, at least I got one of them right. Figured out what was going on. Okay, this says if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the triangles are similar. When you get finished watching this video, you should work on the lesson in the LMS and complete the student guide. Also read through the lesson in the reference guide and complete the following problems in the problem set. That's why you didn't have very many examples, because they didn't have very many problems for you to work. And then it says make note of any general questions you may have when you attend CC on Thursday. I don't believe you have a quiz with this one, so just make sure you understand the material. And that's going to be it for this lesson, and thanks for listening.